Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and in this video I'm just going to do a good old-fashioned get ready with me and kind of chit chat. I've been off on vacation for 10 days. My husband and I took a trip to England and Scotland. So I just thought I'd take this opportunity. I got to get ready for work and just thought I'd talk a little bit about my vacation because I thought it was so fun and never been to England or Scotland. I will link all the products that I'm using in the description box rather than just trying to talk about what I'm using in addition to talking about my vacation. And I'm trying to look at the camera. Somebody called me out looking off to the side. I'm sorry, I don't have fancy equipment. Really not sorry. I'm using my phone and I have to, if I am putting something on my face, then I've got a mirror over here and if the camera's over there. So yes, sometimes I look away. But anyway, I will list all the products I'm using. We just got home like 2 days ago, so I'm trying to get caught up like jet lag, which I have, it was rough. And I mean, first world problems, I get it. But on the way there, well, let me just back up. I'm putting on makeup today. I'm getting ready to leave again for a work trip. And I have a couple of new products I'm trying out today. I just want to see how they hold up because it's one of these things where I'm going to have to go to the airport really early in the morning, fly. And then I am leading like one of the opening sessions for this little workshop that I'm going to. So I have to be ready to go. And I just want to see how I got a new powder. I actually saw it by Tarte, she named it as one of her go-tos. It was a Covergirl. I don't know if this is the exact same one, but I got this one, so I'm going to be using this one. And I just want to see how long all this holds up. So if you notice, I did just use a primer, and I don't normally, as of late, use primer. But again, this is going to be one of those events where I'm getting up at like 4 a.m. and then I fly, go do the workshop session. It's a working lunch, then, dinner with the group and all that good stuff. So I need it to last. So I'm just kind of trying some things out here. Anyway, back to our vacation. And so I'm just trying to get caught up on sleep, but I've gotten up so early since we've been home, which isn't all bad. I was super productive in the mornings because I am a morning person regardless, but just trying to get back on schedule. But had a fabulous time. We flew to, our itinerary was to fly to London, and then we stayed in London for a few nights, 2, 3 nights, I can't remember now. And then we took the train to Edinburgh, Scotland, stayed there for a couple nights, and then we took the train from there to Glasgow, Scotland. And then from there, we took the train back to London, stayed another night, and then we flew home. On the flight there, I don't know if it was excitement or what, and it was like an overnight flight for us. We connected at JFK in New York, and then it left there at 9 p.m. So it was basically an overnight flight. I could not sleep. I could not get comfortable. If I had excessive funds to spare, I swear it's worth it for a first class flight overseas like that because you can at least lay down, but we didn't do that or not in that kind of situation. I just couldn't get comfortable. And then I thought it was sort of strange. They served us dinner at like midnight. And I mean, they're constantly coming through with like snacks and everything. I guess it's fun, but like kind of constant interruptions is what I'm getting at. So it just didn't sleep. So we had to power through when we got there, which, you're excited and everything, and it helped that you get there and it's like daylight, it's morning time, but man, oh man, it was hard. And we got lucky in the sense that the sun was out when we got there because everybody was saying, oh, you brought the sun, because it can be very rainy. Wouldn't you know, I searched and searched for like just the right rain jacket to take with us. Didn't wear it once. So, but all that to say, I was much colder than I thought I was going to be over there. So at the last minute, I decided to throw in like a North Face fleece jacket. I am so glad I did. I would have been miserable. I was so cold. I mean, I was wearing like winter hat and gloves. That might seem extreme to some people, but I felt it was necessary. And before I forget, I just did a YouTube short showing kind of some of the food and drinks that we had on our trip. Just made little shorts of it because I like to see what people eat and stuff. So I just made one of those. If you're interested, you can check that out. But the day we got there, we had signed up for a walking tour, which was like 4 hours. And then we decided to walk from our hotel to get to the walking tour, and on the way, we stopped, we scoped out we had researched more reasonably priced afternoon tea places and found this place, something Rose Garden or something, I don't know. But we decided to walk there. It's like a 3-mile walk. I thought I was going to pass out, not from just walking, but sheer exhaustion and hunger and everything. But my, oh my, I like indulged. When I got there, we ordered the full-blown like afternoon tea with like the cakes and little sandwiches and of course tea. And I pigged out. I kind of regretted it later, but in the big picture, I don't regret it because that's, you know, one of those once in a lifetime things in my mind. So I did it and I enjoyed it. I forgot to tell you, forgot to back up when we first got there and we took a cab from the airport to our hotel, and the cab driver was so kind, and when he found out it was our first time there and our first time in a cab and everything, he insisted that I get out and get in his driver's seat spot and pose for a picture. I mean, he even showed me where to like place my arms and stuff and had my husband take my picture. So he was a sweet old man. So I did that, but then we had our afternoon tea where I just really enjoyed myself, let's say. And then we went on to our tour, and it was like this super extensive walking tour, which was great. I mean, we walked by Buckingham Palace, Westminster Abbey. I mean, we went in Westminster Abbey. We were in there for like an hour, like seeing every nook and cranny of it. But it was great. And we even took a group photo with our group after, so you felt like you kind of got to know them. But saw a lot of like the downtown sites, and then we just collapsed out of sheer exhaustion by the end of that day, first day. But the next day we had to get up, and because we had signed up for a couple of like tours, you know, that like kind of excursion kind of things on this trip. So we did a lot, and you had to like, these were like 10 and 12-hour excursions, but we got to see Windsor Castle, Stonehenge, Blenheim Palace, which is where Winston Churchill was born, if you didn't know that, because I didn't know that. And Stonehenge was cool. Stonehenge was the one place where it did rain while we were there, just the brief time that we were there. And then we stopped, and they took us through like the kind of the English countryside to see some of those like Cotswold type villages, you know, the thatch roofs and all that. Those little villages were so charming in my mind. That was probably my favorite landscape. And we stopped at a little pub in one of these villages and got fish and chips. We stopped with our group and got to eat with this couple from Barbados. They were lovely. And the pub itself was from like 1361. It's crazy how old the stuff is over that. It's amazing. And so, yeah, that was like one excursion day. But I mean, that's like, we were gone from like 7:30 in the morning till 8 or 9 p.m. They were long days, but we saw so much that we wouldn't really be able to see on our own. I don't think cover that much ground. If we'd done just not doing these tours, we would have really had to just stick to just London, which would be fine, but we wanted to see some other things. And the other thing, I love the show Downton Abbey, and a couple of the places we were actually used on the set of Downton Abbey, so that was fun for me too. We did a couple of those excursions, like I said, and saw a lot of England that we probably wouldn't have seen otherwise. And then we took the train. We rode first class on the train from London to Edinburgh. And that was fun for us because, you know, they wait on you on the train, which is kind of fun. So you get to eat. So I ordered like a tea cake and tea, and my husband was really liking all the whiskey that was everywhere, especially in Scotland. But so we got to Edinburgh. We got to Edinburgh, Scotland, and we were like floored at the landscape there. It's like stepping into medieval times in that Edinburgh Castle, which is like the main thing. And there's this street called the Royal Mile. I mean, it's all cobblestone and everything is just so old and medieval looking. It's crazy. So we really enjoyed that. It was fun to walk around those streets and, you know, go into little old pubs and things like that and eat. And I tried to be brave on this trip eating, like I said. So I tried to take a lot of pictures of everything that I ate. So I tried some of the traditional, you know, beans on toast in England, and the haggis in Scotland, and black pudding and Yorkshire pudding. And we had lots of tea, lots of coffees, tried all those like tea sweet treats with our afternoon tea, and the scones were so good. Fish and chips, of course, all of that. But overall, I would say their food was not my favorite cuisine, but it didn't stop me from trying it. I definitely wanted to try it all because that's part of the reason. That was part of the experience to me. So enjoyed trying it all regardless. Tour of the castle at Edinburgh, and then we took a tour from Edinburgh and went to the Scottish Highlands. And on our way up, we saw scenes, landscape that they used for part of the set in Harry Potter, like the scene for Hagrid's house, and the train bridge thing that they use as well. So that was cool. And then little villages out in the Highlands as well, which are really just so quaint. We get to go in little stores and things. So that was fun. And then we worked our way up to Loch Ness. So we rode on the Loch Ness Lake on the little boat tour. And then came back, took the short train ride over to Glasgow. And I'll be honest, of all the 3 cities, that was probably our least favorite. I think just after having been in London and seeing a lot of the actual countryside of England, and then doing, you know, the little villages throughout Scotland, and of course Edinburgh. Glasgow, there's nothing wrong with it. It was more just city and people doing their thing, right? I mean, yes, there's still some old buildings, but to us, it didn't have near the character, I guess it would be the word I would use, that Edinburgh did. And I mean, there was some shopping and stuff, but it was more of that high-end, you know, that's not really what I'm there for or what I'm about. I mean, if some people are, that's fine. I will say Edinburgh, I felt like it was way more touristy, with good reason. I mean, there's a lot to see there. So there's a lot of those like touristy kind of shops, but still Glasgow, what we opted to do, and maybe part of this was just because it was toward the end of our trip and we were getting a little worn down, but we did like a bus tour, just a hop on, hop off bus tour, just to see the city, see if there's anything we really wanted to go back to. The one thing that was just beautiful is University of Glasgow. If you have never seen that, oh my gosh, look it up. It looks like Hogwarts. I took a picture of it for my daughter and sent it to her because, oh my gosh, it was so pretty. But we really just kind of walked around, tried to do some shopping, ate, and then we took the train first class again back to London for our last night. And again, rode first class, which was really fun. And so we got like charcuterie and mushroom and cheese toasty on the train. So that was fun. And then we got back and we had wanted to see a couple other things. And so we took the subway, or the tube, their subway system, and went to see the London Bridge, which isn't that exciting anymore. The Tower Bridge is much more spectacular. And we actually had seen that. Forgot to mention the London Marathon was going on while we were over there. We did not realize that. Kind of poor planning on our part because it was really, really busy. But, and then we did the Tower of London, but that was all happening over, the marathon was happening over in that area. So it was super, super packed with people. and then we went to the area where Shakespeare's Globe Theater was, the original, kind of saw the monument there. And then walked around, went to this really like hopping area. I don't even know what the area was called. It was not far from the bridge and Shakespeare's theater, but I want to say it was called the Borough Market or something like that, but I'm not sure about that. But just tons of restaurants and bars, and people were out everywhere. And so we ate dinner there for our last night. Then took it back and then came home. And my goodness, our flight home was, we flew, our first connection was, our first flight was London to Salt Lake City, which is a 10-hour flight. And pretty cool. We we came across Iceland and down through Canada to Salt Lake. It was fine, just a long flight. I've never watched so many TV series and movies. I think I watched more on these flights than I have in 6 months. I'm very serious about that. It wasn't so bad because I wasn't trying to sleep because it was daytime. The only thing that bugged us was we weren't sitting by windows, and all the windows were closed. And I really felt like if we could have the windows open on the plane, it would help kind of reset our clocks, our internal clocks. But instead, we're all kind of sitting there in the dark for 10 hours on the flight back, even though it was, 10 a.m. So it was a little, I think, so getting home and going to bed, I was super tired. We were up for 24 hours, but it would have, I think, helped me kind of wind down if I could have gone to bed sooner. Yeah, that was like condensed version of our trip, but it was very fun. Now I have to turn around and go to Chicago for a work trip. I have to get up really early. Then I come back, and then I'm going to a ball with my husband. Then we have a concert, and then things kind of calm down, I think. It's been a whirlwind couple of weeks, but all good. Forgot to grab lipstick. Yeah, we're already kind of planning for next vacation spot, because this was the first one we've done in a while that's been just us. Hoping to do more of it, but we did have a really good time. And now that it's approaching spring, soon to be summer, it's going to be harder for me to do videos just because it's hard when I have other people around and some of my kids might be home, but we'll see how it goes. Because if any of you have gone on a vacation that you really, really enjoyed, like you loved your itinerary, please share it below. And if you have been to England and Scotland, especially since that's where I just went, it's fresh on my mind, would love to hear your thoughts on your trip and like things you did that you loved or weren't so crazy about. We enjoyed the whole thing, don't get me wrong. We just, I think my favorite for sure was just seeing the English countryside, and it was pretty much exactly as I had imagined it would be, which made it, I think, even more fun. We stayed at American hotels because that's where we had points, and that it was the easiest for us to make those arrangements, even though it would have been nice to stay maybe in a little more local, but it was kind of handy in terms of knowing what to expect. And the other thing we realized after the fact, because my husband had a harder time getting the reservations initially, probably had to do with the London Marathon happening. There wasn't a lot available. So on this look for today, I did use the Covergirl Outlast All Day Primer, which I don't normally use, and I used this new powder by Covergirl, which is the Instant Wrinkle Blurring Simply Ageless Press Powder. I just want to see how it holds up, see if this is a good option for me for when I travel later this week. But that's it for today. I'm going to go with this look. I'm just working from home for the rest of the day. But thank you so much for watching, and please consider liking this video, subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.